Hi, and welcome to the Mama Faye Live Conversations. And of course, I'm Mama Faye. And today we are going to be talking about becoming financially stable. And it's not what you think. And we're also going to be talking about you still have something to build. And also, more importantly, you have time to build it. All right, so I want to first say welcome to the YouTube, to Facebook, and Substack because that's where I'm going live. And for those of you, you know I'm new to the live process, so I am working through all of the little kinks and things like that. And so we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about becoming financially stable and what that means. It doesn't mean that necessarily becoming wealthy, but stable can be what stable is for you. And that is individualized, even though there is a definition for becoming stable, and it is to have enough money to pay our bills and to save for the future and to not feel scared when an emergency happens. So, those are the three criterias for being financially stable. But today, I want to encourage you, for those of you who want to learn more, to go to the Mama Faye the Mama Faye Becoming Me podcast. And this is directly from that podcast. But the one thing that I want to really emphasize today is one of the key things that most people miss about becoming financially stable. Because most of us, we budget, we try to figure out ways to make more money. Many of you invest money into, good investments. But there's one thing that a lot of us do not pay attention to that is really impacting our finances and our ability to become stable. And that is the importance to know what the laws, what the credit reporting, and all of the changes that are happening that you more than likely don't have anything to do with. It probably is your lawmakers, is people in different companies, is your credit reporting agencies, it's all of these different things that are making decisions about you, and their financial forecasts that are being made, and data that is being collected, and there are decisions that are being made about your finances, which is well beyond your control. So, we want to get into a couple of them, and I'm going to give you some examples of what some of those are and how it can be impacting your financial stability. And so, one is just a credit that you may have that you could uh, impact it in a positive way. If you buy a American made car, a new car, in 2026, did you know that you can take out a $10,000 deductible on the interest you paid on that loan? So that's one thing that can impact you in a positive way. Also, did you know that the standard deduction is going to be higher for this year, 2026? That means when you do your taxes in 2027 for 2026, there will be a higher standard deductible for single people and for married people filing jointly. And that deductible, but don't hold me to it. From what I gathered from my research, is for single people is $24,150, and for married people is $32,200. So that is a difference, and it is going to impact you because it'll impact your income tax if you file when you file next year. And you want to take that into account when you're looking at how you're going to manage this year. We are almost to the half point of this year. But if you start looking at all the different changes in the tax law, you won't be so surprised when you go to file your income tax what will be getting. You kind of have a understanding. And for those of you who it may impact your you in a negative way, you may want to look for different deductions that you can take out so that you can start looking at those deductions. One of them is buying that car. And here is new credit scores rules that are going to be impacting. Now, for people who rent, this may be a good one for you, but there is now going to be using a new system. We were on a different system. So the one that your parents and your grandparents lived under, and a lot of people have gotten really good at how to navigate that particular system. Well, that, from what I understand, is going away. The new system is going to be the Advantage Score 4.0 and FICO 10T. And these two systems is going to determine all of the loans that you're going to get, all of the balances. Sometimes these credit cards will change your balance. All of this is going to be impacted by this particular change. And so, but one of the good parts of this new scoring is for those of you who have been renting for a long time, if you decide that you want to buy, they will look at your way that you pay. If you're paying your rent on time, you can use that as a part of a bargaining chip to help with your credit scores. And however, this is the kicker. Those new scores are also going to look at your trends. What do I mean by that? The way that you handle your money. They're going to be looking at all of the how you pay off your cards. They're going to score will go up. But if you are slowly adding more debt every month, your score might go down even if you're paying on time. So it's not just going to be how it was structured before, but they'll be looking for trends in how you and I spend our money. So those are some of the things that you might want to look at, especially if this year you're trying to buy a house, or if you're going to need any type of loan, because sometimes we're not doing housing loans and car loans. Sometimes you're doing credit cards. Sometimes you're doing payday loans. You're doing all other type of transactions as well. And so those will be impacting our ability to be financially stable. And then there is the child tax credit, which is supposed to be going to 2,200 for every qualifying child. So that's the difference. And here's another one that many may not know, and especially for those of us who are seniors, is medical debt credit rules are not as simple as they were before. In 2025, the rules was later vacated by a court, and some credit reporting protections still exist, but there you have to check because they may end up showing back up on your credit report. They were taken off. The medical debt was taken off, but you may see them come back on your credit report. So I wanted to bring that up. And the reason why I'm bringing that up today is because a lot of times being financially stable is not just about what's coming in and what's going out. We are being impacted by different laws and rules and regulations that are happening in our state and our federal. And many of us don't realize that even when we live in areas where there are our local tax, it's different in different counties and different cities. So that is impacting you as well. And your property tax and what the assessments that you may be making in the area that you live is impacting your finances because they do change. And a lot of times, many of us don't listen to our council, go to the council meeting or listen to them online, because some of them actually have a page where you can listen to your local people meetings. And believe it or not, you find out a lot of changes that are coming down the line that is going to impact you and you're not aware. So I wanted to bring up this as part of our financial strategy for 2026 and moving forward. No longer can we just look at our budget and look at how we could make extra money and how those things are impacting us. We are going to have to live like just like these corporations do. That's why they lay off people when they have a financial forecast that say that things are going to get tough. You see them immediately responding. They don't wait until it get tough and then respond. And that has been sometimes our downfall because we'll wait for it to happen, and we'll be aware of it, but we'll wait for it to happen to us before we respond instead of responding before it happens. So I want to encourage each one of us to look at our financial forecast, look at the forecast that is coming down the line. Let's go ahead and make the preparations that we need, so that it doesn't mean that it won't affect us. It doesn't mean, but what it does mean is that it won't be as bad because you were already ready. Look at it like if you had a storm coming your way, and they told you in the forecast that this is what was going to happen. And while they told you to prepare, but you said, well, I don't have nothing, so I don't have no money, I don't have no this, I don't, so whatever happened, happened. And then the storm comes, and then you are left with nothing, or you don't have anything that prepared, or you didn't do anything. But let's take that same scenario and say, hey, you knew the storm was coming, but you went around wherever you live, whether it's in your car or whether it's in the apartment or whether it's in a home, and gathered everything that you had in the home, even if you didn't have any money, and say, well, I have this, and this. So if a storm hit and the lights go out, I can use this, and this. Okay, I'm probably going to need some lighting, so let me look for something that's going to give me some light. I'm going to need something to waters, or let me see if I can fill up some jugs to give me some water. Is how much you prepare with even what you have, because I know a lot of times what causes us to not respond is because we feel like we don't have anything to respond with. A lot of people, what happens is, I don't have any extra money, so how do I prepare? But look at what you have and use that to gauge. And one thing that has helped me in the past was looking at, sometimes I would break up the amount of money I had to use per day. And even sometimes it got down to per meal. So that's how I was able to gauge. And a lot of times when I went into the store, I already knew how much I could spend for that particular day. And these were times when I was laid off from work, and and money was tight. I had to learn how to utilize that and know how to, even with what you have, how to save for tomorrow. Because guess what? Just like companies do, they scale back. There will be a time when you can scale up. But every time when we scale up and we do feel like we have a lot more, is to put aside some of that for a rainy day, because that will make those rainy days and times like these, when it get hard, you have something to pull from. All right. So that brings me to our Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye. We have wrapped up the Winning While Under Attack series. And in that particular series, that is all about the Nehemiah strategy. And God had given Nehemiah a strategy for how to help his people he didn't know they was going to be under attack. He was just trying to go and build. And how many of us have sat out to build something or to do something? When I say build, do something in your life that is going to be meaningful and purposeful, because you recognize that you need to make a change. And so what that means is, you start trying to build a career, you try to build a family, you try to build a relationship, you try to build a business. I said career. Also, for some people, you're trying to build your education, your knowledge. Even some may be trying to build themselves up spiritually because you feel like I need to make a change personally about myself, and I want to build myself, and do better. But every time when you make a decision to try to make your life better or to try to build your life better, things start to happen. And a lot of times it takes you by surprise because you would think that when you're trying to do something good or you're trying to do something to better yourself, that you would get a lot of people supporting and also excited and also helping. But a lot of times that is not the case. And so Nehemiah found that out very early on, that he had it was three people. It ain't everybody, but it was three main people that did not want to see them succeed. So these three people set out with everything imaginable that they could do to try to stop them from building. So it takes courage, and it takes you willing to take a risk in order to build something that is going to make your life better or make the people around you better. And I want you to know, just because you decide to build doesn't mean that there aren't those that are not going to try to not only help you, but they're going to deliberately try to bring you down and tear you down. And if you start something, I want you to keep going, even while you're going through. Because what happens is a lot of times we'll start something, and because it gets tough, we will give up and we will not complete what it is that we started. Some of you started school and it got tough and you quit. Some of you started working at a place, it got tough and you quit. Some of you started a business, it got tough and you quit. Some of you wanted to purchase a home, it got tough and you quit. Some of you wanted to lose weight like me, and you got tough and you quit. So, what I'm trying to say is, even in the midst of it being tough, don't take that as a indication that you shouldn't have started in the first place. It still is going to get tough. And here's my story. I told this story before one time, but I remember I was about 4 weeks away from graduating from nursing school. And I don't know why they put this it was tough for me, class next to our last class. The last class was like a light class, it was just a transitional class. But this particular class was orthoneurosurgery. And most people, if you're a nurse, or doctor, whoever, that is one of the hardest classes to me to have to take. And it was at the end. And during this time, I remember it was something else that was going on in my life. And I can't remember what it was because it's been a while now. But it was something else that was like distracting me from, going to school. And you got to understand that by this time I have 3 kids and I have a husband, and I'm trying to go back to school, and I was working at the time. And it was something that happened. And anybody know that when you're distracted because you have something else that's going on to take your attention, to pull you away from what it is that you're trying to do, it's really hard. So I'm going into the final exam. Now I'm already going in stressed, right? I'm already here and trying to, because I need this grade to not only be a passing grade, I need this to be a grade of about a B in order for me to really get across that line. So I did the best with my studying, and uh, while came in to take this test, right? I'm already under pressure. And I'm already under stress. Here comes the instructor who had already said, you may want to quit. And I did not. I said, no, I'm going to, finish then, because I done came too far. She has the audacity to say that I was cheating. So, and offer someone, and she kind of made this statement that I was cheating. So I found out later that it was somebody else who was trying to cheat off of me. How did I know that? Because I got up from where I was sitting and I went and I sat at a desk by myself so that, okay, if you think I'm cheating, let me move so that when I pass this class, you'll know that I passed it on my own. So I go and I sit at a table, not in the back. I was right up front, right near where her desk was. Her desk was here. It was another set of people right there. And then I was on that second row in the middle, right straight in front of her so she could see that everything that I was doing. So while we're taking this test, she's walking around and she's watching everybody, which is fine. That's what a teacher should do. You should make sure that people are not cheating and things like that. So that didn't bother me. What did bother me was while I'm trying to focus on getting this test done, she comes and stand next to me. And I tell you not, this woman stood next to me and kept hitting me with her hip. Like she would stand there and then sway so that she would hit me. Now, anybody know that you, first of all, you don't get in certain people's space, right? And you don't touch certain people because that is a threat, right? But I had to quickly say, Faith, that you got to stay focused. You got to pass this test. You cannot take your eyes off of what it is that you trying to do here. And I know you want to get upset right now. I know you want to, like address her right here, right now. But you're going to have to focus. You're going to have to pull your mind in and you're going to have to get this test done. And so, thank God for Jesus and for God Himself and all of the angels. But I was able to focus and I was able to get through that test. And I was also able to get the B that I needed to pass the test. Why am I saying this? Because many a times you're going to be given certain obstacles in life. And just like Nehemiah, the one thing that stood out for me was they had a weapon in one hand and they built with the other. So they never took their eyes off of their weapon, which means you're going to have to fight the fight. And the fight that I'm talking about is not always with your fists, it's not always with your mouth, it's not always with all of those things. Because believe it or not, even that day, I won over whatever it was that she was trying to do. I won over that because I was able to go on and pass that class, and I was able to get my license and be able to have a successful career in nursing because I did not allow what she was trying to do to affect me, and my weapon was stronger. My weapon was stronger because if I got up and got to carrying on, that is a weak weapon. The weapon that I used that was much stronger was the weapon to keep on going and to keep on building. Because one of the best ways to get at your enemy is for them to have to walk by what you built. My goodness, that is one of the best ways. So I want to encourage you that ask God for help, ask Him for guidance, ask Him for hope, ask Him for protection, ask Him for strategy, ask Him for a plan, ask Him to help you to connect with others who will encourage you. All of those things I want you to ask because you're going to need it. And Nehemiah asked, and he was able to get what it was that he needed. He was able to get from the king all of the supplies that he needed, and he also got a letter to say that that it was okay for him to build. But that didn't stop the people from still coming at him, even though he had the king's authority that to do it. And many a times we have gone to our king to our King Jesus. And we think a lot of times because we've gotten the okay to build and to do the thing, that there other people are still not going to come at you. They are. But like I said, build it anyway. So I want to encourage you to build, to build that family, to build that future, to build that hope, to build that health, your health. If it's your health, wealth, legacy, whatever God intended for you to build, I want you to build it today. Those of you who have started and you're building, and like me, you were exhausted. I was exhausted that day that I went in to take that test. And I was ready, everything within me was ready to give up. But I knew that I had came that far, and I didn't know if I was going to pass that test or not. But all I knew that I was going to try. I was going to give it my 100%, and I was going to do everything I could to do it. So I want this to help you to take courage today, and don't stop building. Don't come down. I don't care who threaten you, who try to manipulate, who try to control. And I go through all of that in that series. So I encourage you to go and listen to the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye podcast. And this particular series that I'm talking about is the Winning While Under Attack series. I have finished that series, but you can go and it's available on Substack, but you can listen to it on YouTube, Facebook. I believe that one's on Facebook. That one might not be on Facebook, but it's on YouTube, it's on Substack, and it's also on Apple. You can hear it on Apple, iHeart, Spotify. You can hear it on all these different, and it's a podcast that you listen to. It's not video, but you can listen to it in your car. You can listen to it while you sleep. You can listen to it while you're in the shower. But I encourage you to get that everyone who feel like they're under a threat, under attack, who feel like giving up. I wanted to encourage you, and I want to encourage you today to not give up. And the last thing that I want to leave with you is that God called us to do 3 things, and that was to be fruitful, to multiply, and to replenish the earth. And simply put, that is to be productive. So, what is it that you've been called to do? What is it, that thing? Maybe you haven't figured it out yet. Maybe you're doing it, but because it's causing such resistance and it's become so hard and it looks like it's not going to happen. Maybe it's the thing that you've been called to do, but you want to give up. But like Nehemiah, you got to stay in there. You got to fight. And one thing that really hit me with that was that they kept their clothes on. That means they was ready. They didn't even want to have to go in there and try to change, put on their clothes, because that's how much of an attack they were under. And so today, many of us feel like we're under a attack on every side. But I want to encourage us that we still can build what it is that we need to build. Don't take your eyes off of it. Don't just give in to what we're hearing. We're hearing a lot of noise and a lot that, people that are saying a whole lot of stuff. But even in all of that, don't get distracted. Keep building. We got 6 more months in this year to build. So I want those of you to listen to the weekly podcast. The Thursday one, which is the Understanding Cycles, is going to be wrapping up. But the Becoming Me, which is a goal setting podcast, is still going to be going on Tuesdays until it's time for me to wrap that up. And I'll still be live here. I'll be still live on I'm doing my lives. It would usually be on Thursdays. Today I had to come in on Sunday because I had some technical difficulty. Well, the internet was upgrading, so we had no access. That's what that happened. But I still have come live to you on Thursday is the plan, every Thursday. And I am working on a new series. Well, I'm working on 2 new series. One is for Small Steps, Big Change will come back. and it is about things you need to know. That is a practical lifestyles podcast. But I'm also thinking about doing a series with the Esther strategy, what Esther went through. So I'm thinking about putting that one out as well. So, but stay tuned and follow me on Mama's Faye at MomafeyHT. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. I'm also on TikTok. I'm on all Instagram, so you can follow me, and you'll that way you can keep up with what I'm doing. But I also want to encourage you to like and subscribe, and to put on your notifications as well. I want you to put on your notifications as well. And I want to thank those of you who have been in support, and those of you who want to support, please do so as well. I need you to do so as well. And you can go to MomafeyHT.com website and support, or you can subscribe to the Mama Faye Substack on Substack, and you can become a paid subscriber, and that would also help me to be able to do the things that I'm doing. So consider to becoming a subscriber. And last of all, don't forget to put your notifications on so you'll know when these series are coming up. And I want to thank you. That's all for today. And I will see you next time.